Good morning, gang. Friday, 4 o'clock. My sleep schedule is totally foobar. Uh, it's get an hour here, get an hour there, whatever it is, and trying to keep up with what's going on. Fortunately, Mrs. P actually fell asleep about 1 o'clock, so she's asleep. Before I get started this morning, real quick note. Norman Chapman, if I do not hear from you by the end of the day today, I will be drawing another winner for the Delta 1300. So you've had 3 days now. So if you want it, you got to email me an address. Otherwise, I'm going to pick somebody else. Okay. Anybody else noticed something here lately that, and I'd say this is not just the last couple of days, this is the last few weeks. Have you noticed how it's what's the latest shiny object in the sky? We haven't talked much about the pandemic at all. Okay. Is it over? You know, here we have the situation of what's the latest thing to talk about in the last couple of days. Obviously, it's been what's going on in Ukraine. Has anybody really talked about inflation lately? Nope. How about the southern border? Nope. Pre-mentioned pandemic? Nope. Crime rates? Nope. You know, it seems like we are all, myself included, okay, living in a snippet world at this point where our focus is on one thing. And that's not good, because that's how something gets slipped in the back door to you and catches you by surprise. Now, for the last couple of days, of course, what's going on in Ukraine is very important. You know, it's possible at this point that this could turn into a World War III scenario. I don't think anybody other than somebody like John Bolton wants that, but that's the truth. The Freedom Convoy, which apparently was a bust day one, not many participants in it. We'll see what happens as it picks up speed going across the country, but I guess there was one that was coming down from Pennsylvania or something like that and had one truck in it. Yippee. Okay, let's see what the big one out of California does. I'm hoping this is a little bit bigger, but not getting any coverage whatsoever. People are concerned about other things. You know, what I urge everybody to do is, let's start as preppers. Let's start looking on the micro level as opposed to the macro level. We have to understand the macro level, but we have to think on a micro level. You know, you look at the ineffectiveness, the complete failure, let's just put it this way, of the current administration in Washington. There's all the big hoopla yesterday. Oh, Biden's going to put all sorts of sanctions on Russia because of this. Europe's going to put all sorts of sanctions on Russia because of this. Okay? Let's look at the two biggest things that they could have done that they didn't. Is Russia still part of SWIFT? Okay, international money transfer? Yep. Okay. Is Europe and the United States still getting gasoline, natural gas, oil, whatever, petroleum products from Russia? Yep. Okay. That's the Russian economy. If you want to cripple the country with sanctions, you hit the economy. But how did Biden put it, or his press secretary or something like that? Oh, we don't want to put any unnecessary pain on the Americans. Well, no shit, Joe. We don't want any unnecessary pain either. Okay? How about this? Open up the oil drilling again. Start fracking again. We don't need the oil. Okay? You want to cripple Putin? That's how you do it. You do it economically. Do you think sanctions are going to hurt him? No. He's still going to be drinking high-dollar vodka and eating caviar in the Kremlin. No big deal. The Russian people are going to be hurt. Okay? But the stupidity of what you've done. Look at Germany for a perfect example. Germany gets more than half of their petroleum from Russia. Do you think Germany is going to do anything to stop that? No. Germany decided to let some 16-year-old girl, Greta Thunberg, determine their energy policy. Oh, we're getting rid of coal, we're getting rid of nuclear power, and we're going to go to sunlight and wind. Yeah, look how well that's turned out for them, okay? It snows. You got no power because the solar panels are shut down. Gee, it wasn't a windy year in Europe. Sorry, you have no electricity from your turbines. Oh, okay. Well, what do we have to do? Well, we need to get oil from Russia. Oh, well, we need to put sanctions on them for what they did in Ukraine. Well, we can't do that. Okay, who did this? This is your John Kerry's, Al Gore's, Greta Thunberg's of the world, who have given Putin the power over Europe and in some respects over the United States on determining whether the light switch works, okay, or the car goes out of the driveway. Yeah, right here, guys. Got to think past this. Try it sometime. It works. Okay. But what I said is we've got to look at the micro issues, okay? Your kitchen table issues. And nobody can do it for you because my situation is different than yours. And every one of these 67,000 of you guys, your situation is different than each other's. City, suburbs, country, fixed income, job, no job, your income levels, whatever would be, family size, age, health, whatever would be. There is no one size fits all. You've heard me say that a million times. So it now comes into a point where you really have to look internally and go, we've prepped and talked, not only me, every channel out there, and for some of you guys, prepping has been going on for 40 years, okay? You've always looked at an SHTF event in the future. We could be at it, guys, okay? Economically, politically, militarily, everything. I'm not saying World War III is coming. I'm praying it doesn't. Is it possible? Yes. Okay. What happens when the first German soldier gets killed? What happens when the power is shut off in Ukraine and now it affects NATO troops? Could Article 5 get called into play? And now, by Article 5, all NATO countries now have to declare war on Russia. Putin's already said he's not beyond using his nuclear arsenal. Let one go off. Let him send a small one off. We have a nuclear war. Okay. Learn from this. What did we see in the videos yesterday that came out of Ukraine? And I mean, God knows you couldn't miss them. If you didn't see any of these videos, that means you were totally disconnected from television, internet, whatever it would be yesterday. But like I said, look at the micro issues where you live. Where were the bombing runs made? Military structures, military installations, and airports. Okay, you're in the United States. If you live near a military institution or installation or live near an airport, you're in the firing line. Okay, they went after the big cities. Okay, pick one. There's a laundry list of them that we're after. You didn't hear any stories about, Russian fighter jets going over the top of farms out in the middle of the country and, taking out the wheat fields. That might tell you something. Where's going to be the safer places to be? All right? So you look at something like that. All the talk of Russia potentially being able to take out the power grid, which would be that would be something that could feasibly trigger a war. I mean, full-scale war. What are your backup solutions for that? Okay, because if it gets bigger, guys, that's the next thing that happens here. I still say the two ways that you take out the United States are take out the electrical grid and take out the economy. All right, one of them we're doing a good job of doing it ourselves. The other one could easily be done by an adversary. You know, even the U.S. intelligence community yesterday was telling Biden that we have some cyber strategies, we being the United States, have some cyber strategies we could use against Russia. Take out their internet, take out their grid, or mess with the switches on the train system so that they can't move trains effectively, which of course is military vehicles, supplies, whatever it would be. Well, if we can do that there, you can pretty much guarantee they can do that here, okay? The other side is, don't forget China. China's watching all of this too, guys. And they're learning, just like I'm saying we need to learn, okay? What is going to be the U.S. response? What is, how are they going to handle this? Is Joe going to be as yellow-bellied with China as Joe is with Russia, okay? I mean, the funny part you look at, Joe's got family ties to Ukraine. We know that. And why is he doing nothing? It's interesting. When I say family ties to Ukraine, you know what I mean by his little boy Hunter there and his, $11 million a year salary. But China's watching this too. And the thing is, try sanctioning China. Russia's laughed at us already, okay, with the sanctions because, big deal, all right? They don't care. At least the government. The people will, but the government doesn't care. The Chinese, sanction the Chinese. What do? Oh, okay, we're cutting off all your medicine. We're cutting off all your, pick anything, go to Walmart, anything in there, go to Amazon, anything there. Sorry, no more manufacturing for you. You can't do this to China. So China's watching all of this. Mark my words, it won't be, by the end of summer, China will be in Taiwan. Okay, no problem. And they're just learning what the rest of the world's going to do with all of this. Look at your strategy, your own personal strategy, your mag strategy, whatever, your micro, your little community, whether it's just your household, whether it's you and your neighbors, whatever, and start to foretell the worst case scenario and how you're going to deal with this. Because when the power goes out, do you have a way to keep your medicine cold, keep your CPAP working, whatever it would be, okay? Lights, sure, solar lights, candles, whatever. I mean, this isn't the 1800s. We have a little bit better way of doing it now, but you can deal without that. Air conditioning and heat, okay? Air conditioning, yeah, you can deal without it. Ain't comfortable, that's for sure, but I mean, the world lived without air conditioning for millennia. If it happens, okay. Heat, you got to figure that one out. We've talked about that over time. But, you get into your food, your water, your clothing, whatever would be. Those are all things you're going to need. Have you figured all this stuff out? Somebody emailed me yesterday and said, we live in an apartment and one of the family members was immobile. Let's put it that way. So they knew they weren't going to bug out. They're pretty good on food and water. What should they look at next? If you know you are going to be in your space, i.e. me, okay? People are going to be bugging out toward me. You're out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not leaving the middle of nowhere to go find somewhere that's twice the middle of nowhere. And I'm certainly not going toward a city. But if you're in that situation, what's the next thing you look at? Security, okay? Your weaponry, your personal security devices, your lighting, your cameras, your alarms, your traps, whatever would be. Those are things you need to do. Situational awareness and, anything preventative that you can do. The earlier you're going to know about a threat, the better you are. There's a lot of things to prepping that go well beyond the basics of, oh, I've got food stocked. Wonderful. You need to have food stocked. But walk through your daily life. And God knows an SHTF situation is not going to be trying to mimic how your daily life is in good times. SHTF is going to be survival. But walk through your daily life. Start in the morning. Get out a piece of paper one day and write down everything you do and see if you have that taken care of. The most mundane things, okay? And I mean everything you do. I turned on the sink to brush my teeth first thing in the morning. Do I have toothpaste? Do I have extra toothbrushes? What if I don't have water? Okay? Where do I spit? What if I don't have sewer? I mean, I'm talking to get that micro here. Gee, then I went to the bathroom. What if I can't flush the toilet? Gee, I went to put on clothes. Do you have a way to clean them besides your washing machine? Okay, chances are most of us don't have generators or something like that that are going to run a washing machine. You start getting into all those little things. You want to go downstairs and make a cup of coffee. Okay, what if there's no electricity? Your little Keurig machine or your Mr. Coffee's not going to work. Do you have a percolator that you can make coffee over a open fire? Get into these minor little things. This will help you drastically figure out where your holes in your preps are. And I mean, I'm down to every little idea that you do, So, start thinking on the macro level. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing, I mean, what you can do, we've already done. Whoever's been elected, selected, appointed, whatever would be, is already there. So, there's nothing at this point we can do to change what's going on in Ukraine. That's up to the morons in charge. We can support the protests. We can support the border patrol about the southern border. We can, pick something, but we can clip coupons. We can look for sales to help us with our economic disasters. But most of this stuff is beyond our control on the big level. What's more important now is now you really have to look at the micro level because as much as all this is going on in Russia, Ukraine, gas prices are going to go up. I went and put gas in the truck yesterday at lunch, 10 cents up since Wednesday's prices. I've heard from some of you that it went up at least 30 cents. Okay. That's the difference. Do you have everything you need? It's Friday. God knows what's going to happen today. It's now 4:30 in the morning. Maybe somewhere along the way, I'll get some sleep. I'm going to go have another cup of coffee. We'll inevitably see you again today. Have a good one. Pinball out.